everybody. I'm still doing the dual screen setup, so if you see me like looking confused, it's trying to work the mouse. It's me. It's
me.
Yeah. A-C-A-R-P.
Hello.
So, how was everybody's weekend? What are you working on today? Just real quick. My weekend was good. We celebrated my birthday. I got spoilt. Yes, I had a mild Agatha Christie binge. I read like 4 or 5 novels. Um, I am back on the Year of Faves. I finally finished Alone with You, which I was like halfway through it at the beginning of August, and then I just did not pick it back up because of migraines. So now I'm only behind by 2 novels, a May novel, and then another August novel that I have to finish, which are, of course, I don't have the audiobooks for either. That's why they're not done. But I do have all 8 audiobooks for the September ones. I've already finished one of those and am 32% done with another, so I should be able to read the other 2 physical ones in September, hopefully. Okay, and while the people tell us how their weekend was, Tina, go ahead.
Goodness. As you guys might know, as you guys might know from previous streams, I am going back to school full time. So I've been on a brat girl summer vacation. And so days don't mean anything to me anymore. And they won't mean anything until Wednesday when my classes start. So I'm trying to remember what days were weekend.
I mean, weekend is just a general term. It's what have you been up to since the last time?
I mean, I did have a fun thing where I went over to my dad's with the purpose of giving him a very belated birthday gift and forgot to bring the gift and didn't realize it until today. And that was on Saturday. Or no, that was Friday. You can see the brain, she's not here. And then I spent I marathoned through working on the One Mystery Treat update that happened on Sunday morning. But it was worth it. It took there's quite a few details. It took quite a bit of work, but like I am so happy and proud of it. And the second that a friend messaged me about it, I was like, but look at this detail. Look at this detail. Because it's one of those ones, and like I feel like it's a thing that's talked about a lot in comics, but I don't really hear it in like author spaces. So I'm curious to see if you guys have this phenomenon as well. But like where you finally hit a point in the story that you have been looking forward to since you started working on it like ages ago. And the thing is that with a lot of comics, like that difference is like years. Like that scene that I just did for One Mr. Treat is at least 3 years in the making. And I'm curious to hear once Sam stops chewing her take on this phenomenon. We call it webcomic time in like the community vaguely. And so I'm like, is there novel
stuff
time
like that for serialized chapters? Like fan fiction's a good example. Wattpad and like things like that where they release a chapter at a time and stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Similar. Back in my fan fiction days, there would be like scenes that I'm like, I can't wait to see, especially when you have like specific dedicated reviewers. And you're like, man, I can't wait till Cool Guy 42 reads this chapter or something.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
While we wait for chat to weigh in on that, tell us about your vampire books.
Oh goodness. I feel like we gotta wait until everyone gives their weekend before I go into this because it's gonna be a long spiel. Chad, I told Sam I was like, I need to wait until stream to tell
I
you about
wanted
these
you
books.
to do the spiel while I ate dinner.
I think you're gonna finish. So, during my hot girl brat summer vacation, I realized that my TBR it's been big for a while, right? And it was a thing of I was like, I have all this time, I can read the books finally, you know. And it was a thing of I like went to start reading, and then a friend asked me to help them move. And I was like, the thing is that my anxiety gets bad around moving situations because of situations. And so the night before, I like, I hadn't picked up a book yet, but the night before, I was like, I need, like, because I was doing that thing where you lay in bed and you're just tossing and turning and tossing and turning, trying to sleep. And I was like, either I got to get up out of bed and just like do something and then come back, or I will lay in bed and read something, but I need something just like fluffy and stupid. Um, and there was this one that I had, which like this book didn't end up being stupid. It was more that I was like, I don't want anything that's like, you know, heavy world building or anything, because I was like, my brain is not going to be fully on as I'm starting this, right? I literally just needed a stress relief. And so I pick this series about gay vampires that has these. I'm not sure how I feel about the covers, honestly. The main thing that gets me is that the first one is of the main character, but it literally took me until the third book in the series to realize that they were pictures of the characters. Because the art is like slightly like too far off from how I imagine them. But the thing is that this series, it's about vampires, and it's very gay. The thing is that they do some really interesting stuff with the vampires, where like if a vampire feeds on a human, it is actually bad for their health. So they feed on each other. And there's like this entire world, which for the most part is our world. We'll get to it. There's like 2 trilogies. Like I've finished the first trilogy, and then I think the second one's going to be a trilogy. It might be a thing. I finished the first one. The second one's coming out soon. But in this first trilogy, it's like our world, except there are vampires. And it's a thing of like, yeah, they feed off of each other, and there's these whole like hierarchies based off of like the like I don't know how to describe this. Like you're either like at the top is purebred vampires who like only can feed off of each other, and then like if a purebred vampire feeds off of a human for like more than one sip, I guess is sort of like that line is not really like established. But if they do, their children become first generation or second. There's like pureblood, and then there's a couple generations down, and the purebloods are basically like royalty, right? And in that original series, we mostly center around the purebloods from various countries. The thing is, characters so much fun to read. The chemistry between the because they're all romances, and each book. The first 2 books follow the same couple, and then the third book follows a different couple who's like adjacent to the main couple, and the main couple is still in it. But honestly, the third book's we consider. But anyway, like the chemistry, the romantic chemistry, especially between the main couple, amazing. Like the side characters, iconic. I've had so much fun. It was a thing of like I started reading the night before. I was like, oh, this is nice, but I only got like maybe like 10 pages in, and then like after we had moved like everything in, me and my friend were laying on her bed And I was like, we were just chilling because we were waiting for like moving truck shenanigans, and so I just continued reading because I was like, I'm here for future things, right? I'm waiting, and then it got juicy while I was reading, and then I spent the next, oh god, like it was like I pummeled through like 4 books and a novella in like 5 days. But maybe less than that, actually. It might have been, so I'm trying to remember if it was from like Friday to Monday. So yeah, 4 days. But yeah, no, it's a thing of, I had so much fun. There's one caveat. And the caveat is that the first series, at least, every character that is named, basically, except for 2, are people of color from various parts of and there's like people who are like mixed, people are the main couple is a Japanese guy and then a Italian Japanese guy. And the thing is that the author describes every skin color of these people of color as food. Thankfully, the same food every time for the most part, except between like the half Japanese, half Italian one has a best friend who is Tanzanian, I believe, and she gets 2 different descriptions of it in like from book to book.
See, part of me is like, yes, this is very bad to do, and then the other part of me is like, I mean, they do all eat each other.
I didn't consider that, but also, I need to tell you what foods are used to describe what people. And I am okay.
Let me catch up right quick.
Yes, let's catch up with chat first before I get into this.
CB's weekend was chill, working on character profiles for my thesis. I had a bit of a migraine this morning, but I'm feeling better and have shit to do, so this will help.
That's good.
Went to see my sisters for the weekend with my parents, but pretty uneventful. Not really sure what I'm working on, actually. I've done everything on the whip I can do without beta readers. Have you finished your application for your beta readers? Hey, yo. I got myself signed up to go to a sustainable agriculture conference in November, too. Nice.
Fancy.
Hey, yo, cool gamer. My closest pal writes fanfic with lots of active readers. Much motivate, many write.
Yes.
I do miss that about fanfiction. I'm still obsessing over it. Just name him Cad.
Yeah, I think
I've been pulling for Cad since the beginning. I knew it was going to be food. Or the lightest ones like mayo, that whipped topping shade until the sun kisses it to raspberry red.
Shall we get into it? Once
what's the king's name, CB? No, she's obsessing over naming him. She can't decide on the name.
Okay. So, and the thing is that before I preface this with what's food, the way it starts off, and it does get better-ish by the 3rd book, well, in the later half of the 3rd book. Yes, that one I was gunning for too. In the latter half of the 3rd book, it starts to like fade away, this habit of describing that, but literally like every time there is a skin color described, it is like his blank colored skin. So like the worst way that you could do this, not like his skin was blank, like brown, like da da da. No, it's like his blank colored skin. And so the main character, who's Japanese, his is almond milk. At first, if I remember correctly, it starts off as just milk, and then it specifies later to almond milk. The one I mentioned, who is half Italian, half Japanese, and his brother are both described as honey colored. And he gets that because the mixed Japanese Italian one is the love interest, sort of thing, and he gets described a lot for the having honey-colored skin, which is actually how I noticed it, like not from the almond milk, but from the honey. And then, yeah, honey skin-colored Tude's best friend has coffee skin at first, and then there's a time where she is described as having chocolate-colored skin, but it's literally like blank-colored skin. And then, but then it's a thing of like I'm looking at the text I sent to the friend who I helped move, ranting about this because I had to type up notes to record who was described as who.
It's bad enough we're only using food, but
only using food across the board.
You can't even stick to the same color. Coffee and chocolate is the same color.
Yeah, it's a thing of like the first couple books do chocolate, and then eventually first couple books do coffee, and then later in the third book she's only described as chocolate. So like it just flips with the book. Oh, we haven't sprinted yet.
You haven't missed any.
We're still early in it, but yes. So the thing is that the first two books, the Japanese guy and the Italian Japanese guy, right? The second two books have a Korean guy, and I cannot remember the nationality of the love interest in that one.
The color of the pear's flesh. Yeah, you gotta be specific with that because pear skin is green and red and yellow.
Yeah, that's immediately I thought it was the skin of the pear, which I was like, if you're going to describe an alien, that would be iconic. But
technically, the skin is the outside. You can peel the skin off. You don't want to peel the flesh off. That's pretty. Yeah, that makes sense. Heyo, JK. Wow, this is bad. Like, it wouldn't be as bad if it's like once, but this is crazy.
It gets worse.
I have a questionnaire for beta readers who have chosen to read it. I have not done an application yet. What all should be on the beta reader application? They haven't even look. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. Really, it just depends on who's in chat. If I notice new faces, I'll make us do intros. If I don't,
I didn't actually know that was the reason why. But yes, anyway, okay. I want you to guess because there's one character who.
Hold on, remember? I want to answer RP's question.
Yes,
writing related question first. So for beta applications, I generally keep the application kind of like short and sweet. I like ask for demo information, like sex, age, ethnicity, with like all of that being optional. Sexuality, just for data trends, really. And then if they like things that aren't optional, mandatory questions would be like if they're familiar with the genre, if they like the genre, and a way to like contact them. And then like I would also put at the top a little paragraph that's like this is how long, like my expectations, this is how long it is. If I have a deadline that I would like to meet, I have migraine today, as we can see. Let's see. Length, deadline, contact information. And then I think that's about it for the application. So like I said, the application's fairly short. It's basically just people signing up to be like, yeah, I want to read this. And then you getting information for the demo that they belong to. Oh, wait. Like, I don't even know who I'm watching right now. Oh, fine, RP. Tell the man who you are, Tina, because he doesn't.
I'm so honored. So I'm Tina, aka Cabby. I make comics of the smoochy and sometimes spooky variety. This last update could possibly make One Mystery Treat spooky to you, depending on how you feel about it. So that's interesting. I was thinking about that just before the stream. Yeah, and all my stuff's available to read online. I will drop the links in the chat as well. Yeah, that's it. I make the comics and make the art. Oh, also, if you happen to be a fan of Fire Emblem, I made some fan art because a dear friend of mine has given me fandom by osmosis. And I really needed to do a piece, and so I did said piece, and it's on my website. And I haven't put it on social media yet. I did DM it to Sam, so she already knows it. But if you want to see that, it's on my website as well, which is right there. I like that I can point to my things. Look, it's got a little laptop, even though I don't use a laptop.
Computer emojis, that's all that matters.
But yes, let me grab my links while you do your intro, my friend.
Hi, I'm Samantha L. Nassett, and on my channel I talk about writer things, parent things, and writer-parent things. I host Mondays like this every week at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. This month, we should be having a flash fiction free-for-all on the 30th, so look forward to that. And you can find samples of my writing at my website, SamanthaLNassett.com. My laptop is the second one. And yeah, you can find me on just about any social media at Samantha L. Nassett. That's where I exist. She hadn't even.
I'm a menace.
I have a coffee Ko-fi down below if you would like to give me money.
Give Sam money. But yes. Okay, let me pull up my notes via text so we can get back into the food color descriptions, because there's one I want you to guess. And the thing is that it's described first as a food, and then the character clarifies. And also, another note before I get into this fully, the first two books are in third person. The third book is in first person for both POVs. I hated it. I hated the switch because I read them back to back, and I was like, what are you doing to me? And also, this character I liked the least. He grew on me eventually. But it does make it seem like he's just an asshole. So it's a food, but then it's later described that this person has, let me pull up my exact note here, has brown skin with golden undertones. Guess what food is used to describe them as blank colored skin?
Let chat take some guesses because I'm DMing.
Yeah, take your guesses. Brown skin with gold undertones. And I can't remember what nationality this character ends up
all I keep thinking
being.
Is
that was already taken.
I know.
Also darker.
I'm trying to think of food with gold undertones, and that is what's stumping me.
I'm trying to remember. Is it in my messages?
Stevie said cinnamon bun.
That would be potentially cute, actually. No, I don't have it in my note. I don't. I definitely told someone.
That's fair.
That's also a good guess. I don't know if we should let other guesses in before I reveal it. I had a friend of mine point out that because I've talked about this to so many people at this point.
Apparently, Laura was asleep. And
Huh?
now she's got to go. I said apparently Laura was asleep, and now she's got to run to the store for her ill family. So she may or may
Uh,
not join us tonight.
okay, hopefully she does, or at least she's
Yeah. Well,
doing okay.
I told her, you know, families first. Also, that I was almost asleep.
I was just gonna be solo, I guess. Yes. Should I? Are there any other guesses?
No, really, bread or honey is the only thing I could think of that's brown with a golden undertone.
Peanut butter. He's described. I can read the exact quote because I screenshotted it for my friend.
I don't think I'm gonna like this.
He's fit though, leggy with jet black eyes and dark curly hair. His skin is lovely and brown and reminds me of peanut butter. And then later on, he gets described repeatedly as having peanut butter colored skin. And I died a little every time because I think that was the worst one. And he is described as being like, I don't remember the exact countries. They are stated in the thing, but it's like he's like half Asian, half black in some capacity.
I was in fact avoiding meat in my but
yeah, no,
I was like, yeah, no,
because it's a thing too of the only like character who's a person of color who's not described as a food is this character's best friend who's from India, and the only reason he is described in the first place is because this character is differentiating peanut butter guy from guy who is Indian, because guy who is Indian has like red undertones rather than golden undertones. And I was sitting there like, oh no, not peanut butter.
I suppose peanut butter is a yellow brown, but still.
Yeah, it like does not.
RP, no.
I knew this was gonna happen. No. It's never specified. It'd be very funny if it was. But yes, this got me thinking of the idea, because like, especially with being first person, I was like, what if you had a character who just described everything as adjacent to food because they're really bad at describing things?
I mean, if they described everything as adjacent
yeah.
to food, not just skin color, maybe.
Yeah, that would be the non-problematic version of this, and now I want to do it so badly, like have a character, especially one that's Greek, describe like the sun as a lukumanes. Which, if you guys don't know, it's like a little like donut hole sort of situation. But yeah, no, I just, oh man. And the thing is that while looking up, and the thing is too, okay, so I said that was the first series, right? The second series doesn't have this at all. Well, a honey-colored character is mentioned once, and I think it might actually be one of the characters. But the thing is that one has all white characters except for the one who's mixed, who's mentioned as honey-colored. And so I'm like, is this?
Never mind. They did.
Yeah.
Not.
And the thing is too is that while looking at the story, because the thing is that like I don't like this, but I like the rest of the series enough that I am okay with just wincing every time it happens. And thankfully in this additional series, like, yeah, it doesn't have, but then I'm still like, is it just because the characters are white? I don't know. It's also a thing of, in the first book, one of the love interest is Greek, and I was so upset that we didn't get a food description for him, because I was so excited to see what my skin color would be described as a food. So I guess drop in the chat what you think my skin color would, although I always look so pale on stream. I swear I am olive toned. It's because I always have to put my screen like as bright as possible to be able for you guys to see me.
I have a similar issue, don't worry.
But
I also look like a ghost.
But yes, feel free to throw in your Tina's food color descriptions. But yeah, no, I was upset that he wasn't described with a food, and I was also upset that everyone else seemed to be in touch with his culture, their culture, except for him. Everyone else was like, "Oh yes, I love my people and my country," and I was like, "I wanted Greek." I'm still miffed about it, but yeah, no, it's otherwise such a fun series. Outside of that, probably. But the thing is, I was looking up.
Hold on. Because
Oh.
that sounds like fresh news. We're doing a sprint now.
Okay, we'll do a sprint.
Okay.
I'll come back with more facts about this book series.
Okay. So we're gonna sprint in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hello, Ian. Should I do the and we're back? Oh, we're not back.
I was trying to pause my audiobook.
Yeah, I saw the 3, 2, 1 and immediately slammed Spotify on pause. But
I'm gonna finish this fight real quick so that I don't unpause it and then immediately die.
wait, what?
While I'm listening to the audiobook, I'm also playing Dungeon Boyfriend. Boyfriend Dungeon? It's those two words. I just don't remember what order they're in.
I think it's Dungeon Boyfriend, if I remember from mentioning
Which is
it last
slightly
night.
misleading because there's girlfriends and non-binary partners too, not just boyfriends. But it's fine. Yes, while I listen to the audiobook, I'm leveling up my weapon partners. Chat, what did you work on and how did you do? We had Elisa come in. Hello.
Hello.
That's procrastinated and watched Grace. What
fair,
are you?
Fair. How is Grey's? How is the Grey of the Anatomy? I haven't watched it in years. Sorry, Sam, you totally said something and I talked over you.
I don't even remember. I think I asked Lisa what she was procrastinating doing.
Yeah, that too.
Lisa said, I personally watched through season 10 once and then stopped, and now I've started over and I'm on season 2, so I have no idea how Grace is currently.
That's fair.
I've been getting a lot of Grey's Anatomy shorts on my algorithm for some reason. And it's confusing, because, like, I've never actually seen Grey's Anatomy, so until I check the comments, I'm like, this is just a random doctor show that has shown up.
I don't know, because I watched it because I had a job where I could watch TV in the background, but like on my phone. And my coworker, who could also do the same thing, was like, I'm going to marathon through watching the entirety of Grey's Anatomy, which I think at that point it was at like season 13. And she was like, do so with me. And I was like, sure, I have nothing to watch. And it took us 2 months to watch the entirety of Grey's Anatomy on like 8-hour shifts. Like it was really like I would have it on in the background as I was doing everything. But yeah, it's a lot. But also, I looked up the summary of season 10 because I was like, which one is that? And then it was like, that's where someone, everyone's favorite stops, like at the end. And I was like, I understand now why you're leaving off of that particular season.
Lisa needs to do laundry and read other books. That's fair. So next sprint, you could put your laundry in and then start reading books.
Yeah.
That is exactly why Lisa stopped.
That's fair.
And apparently you said Grey's, and for Grey's Anatomy started randomly playing.
I summoned it. But yeah. Okay. One last thing about the vampire novels, the gay ones.
Give you a second to turn the air conditioner off.
Yes. To quickly catch Lisa up, I was reading a gay vampire series where all the people of color were described with food adjectives, and at first I didn't notice that it was only the people of color because there's like two series, and the first series, which is complete, basically only has people of color. There's like maybe two white characters and they don't even get any sort of description. Yeah. The thing is though, is that the first book in the second series, uh
Oh, I said welcome back, Eva. Bedtime.
but yeah, the second series only had one instance of it, which, well, actually two, because I realized while we were on Sprint that I forgot one. It's the one Hispanic person is described as having macchiato colored skin exactly once, thankfully. And the thing is that I looked up when the next, I think it was, I was looking up something about the next book in the series, which I know is coming out in October. And the thing is, too, is that this book seems to be like the entire series, like it seems to be an indie author, just from like, yeah, especially the formatting. And in the second series, the formatting got significantly nicer, and then all of a sudden they're thanking their patrons, and I was like, I see, you got more money. But the thing is I look up the second book, and the author picture clues me in that the author is in fact black, and I was like, oh, I was expecting a ignorant white person. So yeah, just a wild time. But I do enjoy the series. I don't know if I want to really say who it is. Because you guys are cool, but like maybe someone who's watching this who doesn't have a account and doesn't comment is gonna like send the person bad vibes. I don't want that. But if you want to DM me on like through Discord and ask me if you do truly want to read it, and like it's not a like deal breaker for you that the people of color are described by food, then yeah, DM me and I'll give you guys the title. Because it's one of those things that like
Hold on. Eva said, anyone want to hang out on Twitch with me? Sam's close to affiliate. By close, I mean not halfway, but close. Average watch time of 3 viewers required. I'm alone. Well,
but yeah.
Eva, you are my Twitch loyal viewer.
Wait, I gotta do a thing so I can actually see these comments. But yeah, wild times. And then I proceeded to binge watch Interview with the Vampire, which was also a fun time. And the complete opposite in terms of racial things, I guess. I'm trying to remember.
I've never actually read or seen Interview with Vampire. I just know a lot about it.
Okay, so I do know that in the books, everyone be white. If you have seen any promotional stuff for the show, not the case at all. And so it's a thing of like, yeah, and they do touch on it, like, yeah. I don't want to get into more details. Yeah.
Yes.
But as I described to Sam, season 1.
Do you know I enjoyed the movie Queen of the Damned, which I think is like a prequel to Interview or something?
I've heard of that one, yeah.
I think it's in the same universe, but like Aaliyah played Queen Akasha.
See, I've seen people mention when they're talking about the series, they've been mentioning that name of that character you just said.
Akasha?
Yeah.
She's like the progenitor vampire, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's a thing of season 1 of Interview with the Vampire on AMC. I watch it on the Suspicious Box. Was great. And then season 2, my jaw was on the floor. So that one I definitely recommend. But it's also quite gory. So if that's not your thing, it's also quite explicit. So like maybe don't watch it in front of your parents or your children
It's a
or anything
vampire
like that.
thing.
Yeah, well, it's explicit in both ways because it's also about vampires who are gay. Tina's just been on a gay vampire kick. That and I keep considering rereading.
It's Anne Rice's vampires. This is what I should have said. Anne Rice was the one who like made the vampire genre go from forbidden romance that's bad for you because sex and lust is bad for women to feel to okay, but what if sexy and brooding? Because like if you watch old Dracula films and stuff, there's stuff in there. Because I forgot there was stuff in there, and then I was watching them with my child, who thankfully, because it was slow, kind of like stopped paying attention at certain points, and I made sure she didn't pay attention. There's like full on, I forget which Dracula it is, but he like shapeshifts into a werewolf and hypnotically seduces this woman in a cemetery, and you full on see him going at her in the cemetery as a wolf man. And I was like, I forgot this happened.
Not
so
nice,
yeah,
please,
pretty.
For
so yeah, for when it
how I
comes
feel
to
about werewolves.
when it comes to vampire media, unless it's like specifically made for kids, I just assume it's going to be violent and sexy or sexual, not sexy, sexual.
Well, Interview with a Vampire, both
Don't
sexy and sexual.
Well, I'm offended that July 2023 is more than a year ago.
Yeah.
Eva, don't tell me that. And for that, we thank her. Sexy and Brooding is a great trope.
Love.
This stream is not sponsored by Wolf.
Yeah, definitely not with me here. Not for me.
If Wolf Porn wants to pay me, sure. I'll take money.
Give Sam money.
I need a car. I ain't gonna.
But yeah, no.
I was gonna say something else, and then that threw me off, Eva.
Yeah, I don't have.
Oh yeah, Queen of the Damned. So like the movie, I don't know how much of a good representation the movie was back in the day, but it was like I grew up watching monster movies and stuff with my dad and my grandfather, like black and white ones with my grandpa, more like, I say modern, back then it would have been like the 80s to the 90s ones with my dad, like as Underworld came out in theaters. He took me to theaters to watch that one. So when Queen of the Damned came out, my parents put it on the TV and all three of us watched it together. And then they start fucking on the TV and I'm all like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm chilling over there. We're like, yeah. So that is my association with Anne Rice. Is Queen of the Damned and the random sex scene. I don't even. What is the real vampire's name? Because I just remember Queen Akesha, because nobody else in that movie mattered. Oh, that is Lestat. Yeah, so Lestat is in Queen of the Damned.
Huh, interesting. I did not know that. And so now I understand why people in reference to the show have been talking about. Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, because.
Well, yeah. I want to not spoil anything, so I don't want to. I'm like, I keep getting really close to talking about spoilery things, so I'm like drawing myself back.
I'm trying to remember the lore. Because like Akesha was basically this like uber powerful vampire, and they like sealed her, and then when she got out, she decided to go murderize the Vampire Council of Elders or some shit like that. But that's not what I was trying to remember. Is if I remember correctly, she hypnotizes Lestat into being her little boy toy. And that was like very Dracula.
Spoilery thoughts on that.
Yeah, he did. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I remembered that correctly. Is like there another word for that murder, perhaps? See, murderize is the next level of murder. It's when you brutally murder someone. Like, you can murder somebody and the murder not be brutal. But she does not. She murderizes them.
It's a combination of murder and pulverize.
See, Tina gets it.
Murderize, I get it. I was going to look at something.
Going. Yeah, super murder. Which, to be, like, for the record, I 100% was not defensive. I was excited to explain my word to you all, because I was like, oh, yeah. Murderize. But yeah, she was fucking brutal. No one was harmed in this murder. Then it wasn't done well, Eva. It wasn't done well. I know. Yeah, we were all playing. I'm just also out of it. My husband might be switching to third shift, and because he's switching to third shift, we are unsure if we want me to fix my sleep schedule or not. So my sleep schedule is just currently all over today. That's exciting!
Woo!
Did they tell you about how long they're going to take? Are your proofs going to get there while you're gone? Or are you going to be back before they get there? I paid for 2 days shipping to get them in time. Okay. All right. I will fight the mail system for you if need be. See, I would just binge interview, but my husband wants to watch it with me, so now it's going to take a while. We just finished Fallout, though. Fallout was interesting. Aw, I love that.
Oh.
$39 for that shipping. If it's 3 days, I'll bite.
Oh.
Call. Yeah. That's when you call them and you're like, I paid for 2 days. Oh, so our children, you know, when they finish a book, we give them points based on how many pages the book was. And then when they get to 100 points, they get a book that's 20 or less. Yeah, that's, I don't know why.
Like,
I thought there was more to my sentence.
$20?
Yeah, we buy them a book that's 20 or less. My daughter wanted Welcome to Dead House, which is the technically first Goosebumps novel. And our local Books A Million had a copy until we went to buy it for her, and it's sold. And apparently that book is like, new copies aren't being printed, so had to hunt it down. We like asked her, it's like, hey, is it okay if you get this new but still good condition copy? And she's like, yeah, I suppose. Thought you meant the mail system, and I was like, bold, honestly. Fight the patriarchy, though. I'll fight that. But so far, Ingram Spark has been earlier than that. Oh, that's really good. You want to see the pre-order? It's a secret, though. So I would love to see the pre-order that is a secret. Yes, I'm aware not all males, all men, etc., etc. Well, see, but you said system, not
Yeah.
the men themselves. I don't want to fight every man, even if they are all a problem. But I don't have that energy right now.
RP, just you wait. When Sam gets energizing you.
That's right, RP. I'm coming for you. Okay. I'll copy paste it into the YouTube chat. Well, Fox, there's negative amount of provocation needed to get you to fight me. I don't know. We will experiment. Oh my god, I hate that Instagram does the thing now where you randomly get things from people who, like, I'm not following them. I don't care that they went live. Leave me alone.
You can disable that, if I remember correctly. Somewhere in the settings.
Okay, hold on. Gotta go to my Twitch chat. As a spectator. I'm okay with that because then I actually get to... He's like, if I can meet Sam, she can punch me. That's fine. RP, let us meet under less violent circumstances. An AuthorTube boxing match retreat would be one I'd consider as a spectator. Alright, give me a couple months to pump up.
What if we did okay, it's a boxing writing retreat, and we have work sessions where when it's not the sprint, we're boxing. We have boxing matches.
I don't know how well that's gonna go when people are KO'd.
And then you win not by how many matches you survive, but how far you get in your progress.
Tag team? Alright, I have shared Eva's. Oh, that's cute!
That's so sweet.
I love the little watercolor. Am I logged in? I need to add to my wish list. I'm not logged in. I will be. Oh my gosh, I don't need to create an account. I'll fight with you later. Where's my bookmark button? My sister is always having new babies, so I did the book with Canva illustrations. It's for my daughter, but in memory of my grandson. His birthday is the 12th of September. The retail price is steep. Do not recommend. I make $1 from that. I'll have them on my Ko-Fi. Okay, I'll wait for your Ko-Fi then. How many babies does your sister have? Well, all right, so she's got my oldest niece. Well, my oldest niece from her. Which they like had that one, and then they were like, they were gonna wait a while, but then after they waited a while, they've got 2, under 2, no, The one just turned 2, the other one just turned 1, and she's got another due in February. So she'll have 4. But like
neither of those hands up were 4. I did 5 and then I did 3.
But she's gonna have 3 under 3.
Ooh. That's quite the time.
And they're not done.
That is more than my brain can handle theoretically having.
But yeah, so
if I could afford it, I would
my
like
grand
10, I guess.
4. I'm trying to remember how old my oldest niece is. Hold on. My daughter will be 10. She'll be 8. Okay. Yeah.
Currently have a plethora of nephews and cousins and nieces, including Sam's.
One is forever 3, but with B-days, they would have both been 4 in 2 weeks. My children are 27 and 6.
That is quite the gap.
Was the 6 a late in life surprise or empty nester? Well, time for another one. Some people do that. They'll be like,
just the way you phrased it.
They liked growing the first one so much, but it's like grown up and without them, so they're like, let's have another.
The way you said late life surprise, I was already giggling, and then you went even further.
No, congrats then. 27.
So the opposite.
They enjoy, well, technically, I don't actually know how frequently the first one is planned. I just know that a lot of, like, okay, not a lot, but like frequently enough in my life experience that I always ask, was it planned or did y'all decide to start over? So
I actually do have a character in False Oracle who...
My mama was a teen mom, and that was part of why I was like, I will not have sex until I am married or in my 20s. Because to be fair, my mama did the best job that she could. I'm just slightly traumatized from it, so. Geriatric with my...
You were like, I was on one side of the curve, I gotta go to the other to even it out. Now I'm in the average of like age having children. But yeah, what I was gonna mention is in a False Oracle, I have one character who has a extremely long name, and part of it is because he was planned and it took a long time, but then has a significant amount of younger siblings because the second they had him, baby's out the wazoo.
That's kind of what my sister went through, because they didn't want as big a gap between their first one and their second one, but they were having some troubles, and then they had their second, and then now their third and their fourth, like back to back. So sometimes it just be that way. Eva's daughter is also a teen mom, so we were both grandmas. I was a non-custodial parent. Yeah, I was a group project. Everybody babysat me. My uncle, my mother's older brother, he and his friend, who, if I remember correctly, no, he's not. I was going to say is my godfather, but no, my godfather is my other uncle. Either way, these two, like, they would take me to the beach and use me to pick up girls. I was like, okay, so my grandma would take care of me at night, while my mom slept, and then my mom would go to school, and my grandma and I would sleep, and then my mom would come home, and then I'd be up with my mom. And this is my sleep schedule to this day. So I was just on my grandma's sleep schedule. My mama also, like, she tried to be a working mom, a working teen mom who went to high school until my grandfather took her aside and told her that as long as he made enough money to take care of all of us, that he wanted her to focus on school and being there for the things that you only get to experience once. Because my grandfather is a master of emotional manipulation to let him take care of you, which is why I was still on my grandparents' phone plan until next year. I grew up with one sister and my mom. We were latchkey kiddos. I gotta remember that if my sister asked me to babysit my niece, hey, to be fair, it takes a village, man.
I think the picking up girls thing was
Oh,
the thing he
that's
was
fair.
referring
Yeah,
to.
I mean, it works. Like, because if you are good with children and somebody is looking for a partner to raise children with, they're like, oh, all right, bonus already in the thing. I have a plethora of siblings, all shapes, sizes, genders, views. Although, I also, if I didn't like my uncle's girlfriend, I would leave my opinions.
You're starting to cut out.
I think I hit the thing with the mouse. There was this one. All I remember was being in the back of the pickup truck, and they were like fighting over something, and I saw my uncle flick her off. So I very distinctly remember slowly pulling my fingers down so that only my middle finger was up, so I too could flick her off. And then she told my uncle that, like, she wasn't mad at me for doing it, because she did understand I was a child. But she informed my uncle he needed to teach me not to do that, and my uncle thought it was cute, so he told me to do it more. But not in front of my mama. Story prompt. All I remember is I have a lot of memories that's just like in the back of a pickup truck.
I also feel like that's such a like Southern thing. Like,
you know the funniest thing about that? This did not happen in the South. It happened in Michigan.
That is funny.
The first
I have
4 years of my life were in Michigan.
I have exactly no memories in the back of a pickup truck.
Well, a lot of, especially depending on what area of Michigan you're in, a lot of the culture is very country or Southern adjacent, because a lot of the Southerners basically when a lot of Southerners migrated from the after the Civil War, the North was like, throw them in Michigan. My family is from Michigan. I was born there and I lived there for 4 years. So I claim Tennessee because I'm much more Tennessean, but I know Michiganders well. I have memories in the back of a pickup truck, but I was a teen and we were drinking underage. That's fair.
See,
not the same upbringing as kiddos riding in the back.
See, for us, it was drinking underage outside of the either the El Cibo, which is the like liquor store, government run, or outside the Tim Hortons. Because basically everything you do that's blasphemous in Canada, you probably do it outside of a Tim Hortons. Or
none of my friends drank underage. They were all nerds and geeks and stuff, and alcohol tasted terrible. But at family events, I did partake with my family of some whiskey and my grandma's peach schnapps. Those were her favorites. My family is rural Michigander, but not that kind. My grandparents moved to Michigan later. My family is from the Saginaw South Haven area predominantly. Oh, that's cool. If you run into any Nassets at all, I'm related to them. Every single one of them. All right. So I'm gonna mark the newest comment, and we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Lisa, go put your laundry in. Hey yo.
Hello.
Okay. So, um, scrolling up real quick. Oh yeah, Lisa said she was gonna try to hunt down Myra. You could try. I don't know how many of them actually know me by my name, and not just it's so and so's oldest granddaughter or their so and so's oldest kid. So, the way I was already watching you, I'm here for you, Lisa.
I also had laundry to finish up. And by finish up, I mean toss everything that didn't need to be hung up immediately on my bed.
Did you do that?
Hmm?
You said you had to do that. Did you do that?
Yeah.
Cool. CB's trying to figure out if this was made up, but was it a thing where royals would pick like playmates for their children, like other noble children for prince and princesses to play with, or have webtoon slide to me? And then Tina's never done research on it, but she feels like it's a thing. I will go into the next part with like a very heavy asterisk that nobility and like the whole monarchy social systems can vary very dramatically depending on what part of the world you're talking about. I like even what subtitle am I changing? Oh, sir. That's been there. My thing said almost birthday girl. But yeah, like even the way that nobles worked from like France to the way they worked in Italy and Britain could change in like subtle or really big ways. So it was definitely a thing in some countries where royal playmates would be selected from like noble families. It was like one way for nobility to gain influence is they'd try to basically get their kid in good with a royal, and then because it wasn't safe for royal children to like go socialize regularly in some countries. CB could only find it for women. That would probably be like predominantly in like Britain and France and some of those European countries where it was only women. I do think that there are some like in Asian countries it would be like their playmate slash a like personal bodyguard that was basically being raised alongside them, because like the idea is like, oh well, my son has like a best friend who would also die in his place if anything happened. So it was like not the most equal of friendships, but a thing. Whipping boys and girls were also definitely a thing. This was mainly a thing because like servants and teachers and stuff were not of high enough status to, hit royal children. That would technically be like assault on the royal family and an act of treason. So in order to kind of like get around that, they would have whipping children of common birth who were just there to be abused in the place of the royal children whenever they fucked up in their lessons or needed to be punished for something. Laundry in, not switched over, but in, and then I played some chess. Nice. Worked a little bit on the beta readers app and also finally joined Sam's room. Aw, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Tis a fictional world, so I can do whatever I want, but I was looking for a frame of reference. And I figured I have hounded you enough with, it's fantasy, do what you want, and I was
Like, let me pull out all the. That's one of the things I love about webtoons is they're like, welcome to my vaguely Earthian royal society. Is this based on Europe? Is this based on Russia? Do we have Asian hierarchy with European fashion? Do we have European hierarchy with Asian fashion? You don't know. Enjoy. So it's one of the things I really enjoy about reading a lot of the webtoons. There was also often like the playmates for the female nobility or royalty would I think Lady in Waiting.
I was gonna mention, I was like, is that like
Lady.
a friend? Is that like someone who's hired, like just as a profession? I don't know. But I also only know about that from webtoons. So I was in the same boat as CB, being like, I know this is a thing on webtoons.
Ladies in Waiting are technically, it's like a princess's or a really high noble woman's, like they're her confidants, they're her friends, but they're also her servants. Like the lady in waiting does their hair and helps them get ready and get dressed and stuff. So it's like they're like a mix between a servant and company, but they're not like never equals. But yeah, a lady in waiting generally, like they're all of noble or high ranking birth. Especially since they gotta like, because they're dressing the princess and stuff, they've got to know the ins and outs of like social gatherings and fashion faux pas and all that. Because if they make the princess look bad, they ask disgrace.
You just reminded me that Remarried Empress has been on hiatus for a while.
I know. I keep checking it. It's not there. I abdicate
what has happened.
I abdicate my throne as the Empress is another good one that's very similar vibes as Remarried Empress, except our lovely Princess of Katrov is a battle mage, so we've got that going on.
Yeah, those ones are not really my jam because I'm bad with political dramas because I forget what the heck has happened. So if not for you also reading the Remarried Empress and me being interested in the characters, I would not be reading it.
That's fair. There is a lot going on there. So juicy though. So many threads.
So juicy. I do need to.
We're so close to having it confirmed whether or not it's Chauvin Shoes Baby.
Oh my
So
God, yeah. Oh,
which you know, I from a very was questioning that paternity. I have not read any webtoons in the past couple weeks. You have to go on another binging spree soon. I know.
Or like, I assume. Although I do have a bit of a fun story that makes me seem like I'm bragging, but I swear I'm not. Because during the panorama, the lockdown part of the pandemic, specifically, I had where like I was just listening to Spotify constantly, right? And at the time, I was part of a friend's family plan, so I actually like didn't have ads. Now I barely listen to it, but all this is to say, I was discovering all sorts of new music through Spotify, including this one fabulous queer Italian artist who lives in Britain. And it was a thing of they put out this like absolutely like banger like club hit, right? And I would listen to it constantly. It was a thing of eventually I like found them on Instagram because I realized I was like, oh, like following the like musical artists I like on Instagram is great for like, me like, keeping up with them and like concerts and all that sort of stuff, right? And so I go in and I follow a bunch, including them, and then I ended up DMing them. I think because they followed me back, I DM'd them being like, I really love your stuff, especially this song, been keeping me, getting through this lockdown, haha, sort of thing. And they were perfectly, civil and respond like, oh, thank you so much. And we didn't talk after that. But the thing is that this is before I had a personal Instagram. So this was all on my Cabby, like, art Instagram. And the thing is, I eventually separated it, which is fun because a good chunk of the people on my Cabby Instagram are like people I dated or almost dated that did not follow me afterwards. But it was a thing of this artist, like every time they release anything new music-wise, I go and I like the post at least. But they also have been doing where every time I post something, they go and like my post. And so they keep liking like the One Mystery Treat updates. And I'm like, do they read my comic? Does a internationally famous artist who has been on the cover of Vogue Italy read my comic?
That'd be pretty awesome.
They're very awesome, and they just released new music. I haven't listened to it yet. They also had where one of their tracks ended up on a Netflix show, which I also haven't watched, but I do like that track. And it's funny because like there's a scene in One Mystery Retreat with Sam, you know of, where like the characters are like at the same diner, but it's like Friday night and there's like disco lights and stuff. When I was doing that scene, I was imagining the song from this artist playing. But yes, I will link them in the comments. Their name is Andrea Di Giovanni. And yeah, so humble brag, I guess. But also, they have great music, and if you want club vibes,
Senpai
or just
noticed you.
Yeah, Senpai noticed me in ways I didn't expect because it still happened. There's also another artist who like I like knew of, like I had seen them at a show like further down the line from me. They never noticed me. I started following them. Their stuff is super cool, and like super realistic, like rendering too. And I was like, oh man, their stuff's so cool. You just get lost in the details of their pieces. And then I had where I did another show like years later, because the first time I saw them was in like 2017. Like, was it this year or last year? I did a show where they were also table, and they were like right like kind of in the same position of like just on the end of the aisle from me. And I went up and like was like, oh, like, like I've been following you for a while, your stuff's really cool, and I ended up buying some I went to buy stuff from me, and they were like, do you want to do a trade because I think your stuff's really cool? And I was like, me? Cool. And now they also do a thing where they've followed me back and occasionally like my posts, and every time I see them, these two people, I'm like, but yeah, no. There's another story I have like that. Oh, I had where the last show I was at, I like set up my table, and it was a thing of it was half tables, so I was like sharing a table with someone, and the person I was sharing the table with was like super cool, and them and their partner kept having very interesting conversations, and I kept trying so hard not to like creepily eavesdrop. But then at one point I responded, and they were like, oh, and then I was like, oh, I'm so sorry to eavesdrop. And they were like, no, it's cool. And then they included me in the conversation. The three of us were, I found out the other person is also half Greek. So the two of us were like, going on. But then at one point, the like artist turns to me, and their stuff was like jewelry with like fangs and like fake teeth and like little blood drops made of beads, like stuff like that. Really cool, like gothic jewelry. And they turned to me and they were like, yeah, no, I picked specifically this spot beside you because I noticed that you are also goth. And I was like, me? Goth? And they were like, yeah, no, you should do goth markets with Coffin Bed. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. But yeah, just the initial me, goth, huh? Because I've never been I've been emo adjacent in my musical taste, but never would have considered myself a goth. But yeah, Wild, it is fun, like, especially with doing markets and stuff, that, like, the people you, like, get to interact with, like, I feel like a lot of people are like, oh yeah, networking, connections, I'm gonna, make friends with popular people so that they make me popular too and share me and da-da-da. And it's like, honestly, it's more fun to just straight up make friends. Like, um, just honestly, it's sometimes, especially when a market isn't going well, like money wise, I sit there and I'm like, but so many people compliment me, even if they don't buy something, and I'm like, I'm fine with this, just petting my ego.
You're like, this is a good ego boost. It's fine.
Yeah.
I went and I gave RP a welcome emoji that is so much larger than I intended it to be.
I didn't even notice because I have my Discord window really tiny. Let me blow it up.
Well, it's like not that big on the phone. Oh no, it is.
It's pretty big.
No, on the phone it's like it's big, but like it's a lot bigger on the computer. Cause like on the phone, it's like yay big, right? But then on the computer, it's yay big. And I'm like, this is a couple inches of difference. So I have no regrets though. I just didn't expect when I looked over that it would be so big. Oh, he has a little heart plant emoji next to his name.
Oh, that's so cute.
Cute.
I gotta do the lettering for this thing that I'm doing, and it's
for,
I don't really
for your
it.
Discord icon. Might I suggest the Cabbage Man from Avatar?
That's a good one.
Yes, that was huge, and I appreciate. See, there's this thing on the phone that Snapchat has called Memoji or something like that. I don't know. I just know I made me in it and connected it to my keyboard on my phone, and now I have lots and lots of me emoji things I can use. Recently updated my hair on it, but still have not updated the outfit. That's going to be the outfit forever. Occasionally I go in there and I'm like, maybe she'll wear something else. Nope. Also, I would like for everyone to know that in Boyfriend Dungeon, there are no cages.
No sibling cages?
No cages of any kind. Just dungeons where you fight monsters. There is a stalker, but he is not a love interest. In fact, when you go to start your file on the game, it warns you that like apparently the stalker is written so well that it has like caused people emotional distress. So they're like, take time and breaks as you need. And I'm like, well then. The saddest part about this, though, is like while I'm playing it and he's doing his thing, I'm like, oh my god, I've known so many people like you. I'm just constantly annoyed by him. Like in this game, a lot of like all of your love interests are people who can turn into weapons, right? And like he runs a weapon shop, but like a regular weapon shop, and you like go there and immediately he starts talking about how like you know, we're pure humans, and like he just starts shit talking weapon people, and I'm like, okay, first of all, before I came here, I met a particularly attractive sword man, and I don't like the way you're talking about him. There's another part where, like, because you're visiting your cousin and he's trying to set you up with people and stuff, and you go out with this one person who's not a love interest, and the date horribly failed, and that's fine with me. But then, like, out of nowhere, motherfucker texts me and is like, so that didn't go well, did it? And I was like, how the fuck did you know? Like, sir.
Wait, like
No.
the cousin messaged you and was like, it didn't go well? Or did
No, the stalker. I was
Well,
like, how
obviously
did you
he found out by stalking.
I know. Well, I'm just saying, this early on, I didn't realize he was the stalker. I should have from the first conversation. I definitely did after that conversation. But, like, at first, because, you know, it's a dating sim. And so I assume everybody that my cousin's setting me up on is going to be a love interest. And then so I was like, wait, I thought all my love interests were weapons. And then I quickly realized, I'm like, oh no, I can go on dates with random people too, but they're not.
So like, the stalker becomes your stalker because you two had a bad date.
Oh, he thinks we had a great date.
Mm.
That was in fact not my interpretation of the date. But yes.
What happened that made it not a great date to not him?
He was a speciest asshole.
Okay. I wasn't sure if there was anything else.
Not that I remember. I, like, in part wrote that man off and was just, I'm like, okay. Whenever his stalking intensifies, I'm like, I'm currently dating, like, a hammer, a sickle, a saber, a rapier, a dagger. What else am I dating? I'm dating a lot of very dangerous individuals that would help me fuck him up an axe. So, like, I wasn't worried about the stalker coming up in my house. It is like Soul Eater. I
was about to say.
Essentially, yeah. I am playing Soul Eater. But... And one of the things I like is that you can choose to be romantic or platonic with all of them at once. I'm down with... Yes. I'm like dating, and it's like the game doesn't ignore it. Like, I've been kind of like on a quasi double date with like I'll go on a date with one of them and another one will be there, and like they all get along and stuff. It's really nice. The only one I'm not sure about is this one kid who's in college. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm here for this college kid vibes. So, but they're sweet, so we're having a considerably more wholesome relationship than I have with some of the other ones. For Lisa missed all the context. So for my birth, there's a game. It's called Boyfriend Dungeon that has been on my radar since, like, I don't remember if it was on Kickstarter or something. But I've seen stuff for it since it was in the works. And I wanted it, but I just hadn't picked it up yet. So my husband bought it for me for my birthday. And it's a mix between a dungeon crawler and a dating sim. So all of my love interests are weapons that I wield to murder monsters. And the dungeons are all, like, themed for you to fight your inner fears. The first dungeon is, like, you fight your inner fear of change. A lot of telephones in there for some reason. But, yeah, I was just talking about the different, like, romantical things in there. Like, you can romance all of them at once. They're not all male. Some of them are female. I mean, I was talking about fictional men. But like apparently the writer / program did this, so they have this character who's very like nice guy TM stalker-ish, and they wrote him so well that when the game first came out, there was actually a lot of controversy because it triggered a lot of people. Because like I know it sounds very throwing, like what's that? What is the word for trendy words that people start to throw around and they lose their meaning?
Bandwagoning?
No, that's like the act of it. Oh, I'll figure it out later. But it like to say he's very like nice guy TM and stuff kind of makes it sound like less creepy and stuff than it is. But like cliche isn't quite it. Word for
Do you have a favorite man of the men yet? Or of the romantic interests, I should say, because they're not on men. Hashtag not on men.
I will I don't want to admit to it because it's so very me. But he
dies or he's buff and potentially edgy.
Look.
I'm going down the list.
He might be the one who's wearing a leather jacket with no shirt who owns a nightclub, okay? He may send me rose emojis like constantly.
Oh wait, like so it's dungeon, but it's not like entirely like historical fantasy. Then it's like
it's modern day.
Oh, interesting.
Fox says, so there's a leather jacket and an open shirt. Well, oh yeah, Fox knew. Fennel, tripe, platitude. No, there's like a specific phrase for when people start using they're like very it's when an actual like term that is like an issue or something
like
starts being like thrown around and used so much by the social zeitgeist that like it literally starts to lose its gravitas and like meaning.
Mm-hmm.
Semantic shit, stereotype. You guys get what I'm talking about anyway. But like, yeah, no, literally, he's like really well done, really great. Like I said, for me, my reaction is I am annoyed by him because I have met people like him in real life. But I'm also very confrontational, and so I would confront people like this in real life. But buzzwords. Thank you, Fox. I was a linguistics major. Yes, I meant buzzwords. So I was saying, even though I'm kind of using like buzzword, like this is legitimately how he like is and stuff, and because they wrote him so well, like, you know, a lot of people have met people like him, and so that now there's a like warning on the game and stuff, and they're like, hey, if it starts to become too much, just like take a break and stuff, right? But yeah, see, like here's my little phone. I know I can't turn my screen brightness down from this. See, I've got my text messages, and in my text messages, the top one is my cousin, and then there's Valerie, Sunder, Seven, Isaac, my mom, the stalker, then like these other people. So they like send you like texts and stuff. That's how you arrange dates and everything, and they can send you little emojis. It's cute, and you can like make gifts and stuff to give them.
Oh, that's cute.
Right now, I've got a Net TV subscription for thousands of hours of trash on demand. Just the description for the item. Who was I going to give that to? I was going to give that to somebody specifically because they like binging TV. I gotta remember who that was. And then, like, here's the little map. See, the red things are where I have a date available. The green are shops. La Rosa is the nightclub. The Rose is the nightclub where
of course.
my favorite man's. Well, it's my favorite would be between him and the surfer, whom is the battle axe, and looks very like Viking-ish. And I love the fact that he is a surfer and he looks Viking-ish to me. It's actually called semantic. At least according to Google. Wait, stalker. Yeah, he's a stalker. He's annoying as fuck. I like went on a date with somebody else and he was like, he texted me right after the date and he's like, so that didn't go well. And I'm like, sir, the fuck? How did you know?
Oh, he was commenting on someone else's. Yeah.
No, my date was someone else. Which it didn't go well, but that's none of his business. And then, like, he's also like, look, I don't care if you, like, date other people. And I'm like, well, that's good, because I didn't ask. Meanwhile, I, like, straight up, like, I brought my favorite guys to my cousin's barbecue, where my cousin was introducing me to my second favorite guy. And they like got along really well. And the like stalker shows up and they like helped me handle him. It was so sweet.
Oh.
And I was like, I've already been established with going out with my favorite guy at that point. And then like at the barbecue, you're allowed to kiss like one person. Then I kissed the new guy. And then my guy, he like a little later, he kisses me on the cheek and he leaves because he's got to go. Because he's got a dark and broody secret that he's got to deal with. Because of course he does. It's not my fault I have a fictional type.
I mean, I fully admit to having a fictional type. And I'm trying to think of...
Well, look, I just want to point out how funny and how well my bestie knows me, because he literally, like, he wrote, so there's a leather jacket and an open shirt, and like the first things I described was he wears a leather jacket with no shirt. So.
I mean, I listed off. I was edgy, buff, ties first.
Oh, I not that buff.
The only reason I say buff is because of what's his name from Heartsteel. The one
that's my boy.
Yeah.
Well, that.
What is his name? Goodness, I have forgotten all of their
My
names.
Cat boy.
Seth.
Seth.
Is it
that one?
Is it Seth TH or Seth TT?
TT.
Okay. Like the Egyptian god.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Egyptian cat god.
Makes sense.
Hold on real quick.
My type is a fancy pants dude, especially if he is mildly depressed. And so I had a fun time watching Interview with the Vampire on several accounts. But
Hold on.
oh goodness, I never have the screen big enough to actually see when you show things on screen. I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
I didn't know at all. But like, yeah, you just look them up. And then this is my second favorite one right there.
I can't see where your cruiser
Hold on.
is.
I go to like I go to make it bigger and then it opens it in a new tab. See, this is my number 1 and then this is my number 2.
Ah, I see.
8 more weapons. Yeah, I guess they're new. They're not in the original ones, but that's fine.
I like how close I am to the screen trying to say that. Just ooh.
The stalker is not on there, thankfully.
Okay, I feel like the one on the far left with the braid would probably be
that's Rowan. Like. Rowan's very goth. Has a white raven named Crowley.
Cute.
Rowan is also NB. Their pronouns are they, them.
Cute. Now I want to see what the stalker looks like. I'm going to go look it up.
You want to see what looks like?
The stalker. Dan.
He looks like one of my favorite characters from this cartoon I saw while growing up, and so I get such a whiplash.
Cartoon.
I cannot remember. I just remember like, when I first saw him, I was like, I love that one cartoon. And then he spoke, and I'm like, I don't love that.
Your voice went so high you cut out.
When I first saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, I love him from that one cartoon. And then he spoke, and I was like, I don't love that. Was it Static Shock? Hold on. Static Shock.
Are you thinking of the character you're thinking of that he reminds you of? Is it also someone with blonde hair or someone with dark hair?
No. They could be twins. Yeah, it's Static Shock.
Remind me of what's that one where it's like a superhero, but then like the person is like a Carmen Sandiego looking lady when they have superpowers, but then they're like a dorky guy when they don't, and like there's a fun gender flip when they like that one was around the time of Static Shock too. I cannot remember the name because I never actually saw it. You know the one I'm talking about though? And it was really like noir.
I am uncertain.
I'm gonna have to look it up. I have a feeling. Aha! Fox is coming to my rescue. Cyber 6, apparently. I love having just the omnipresent Fox who will just send factoids.
I saw Cyber 6 recently.
And you didn't
know when I was a child. Because I didn't see it when I was a child. And I didn't actually watch it. I saw something for okay. Within the past year and a half, Fox and I have had a conversation about Cyber 6.
Yeah, because
I don't remember why. But I have sent a picture of it was Richard Foley from Static Shock. Static's like bestie. I adore him. All right, so we're gonna do our final sprint.
Yes. Should I count down? Because I haven't been counting down this entire time.
Yeah, go ahead.
3, 2, 1.
Lisa, go change your laundry.
Yeah. And we're back.
We're back.
So I don't know if anybody has read The Girl with All the Gifts, but it is not what I expected, and it is quite interesting.
Wait, hold on. I think I've seen that movie.
Perhaps.
I'm
I
Yes, I have.
forgot that
movie.
August was dystopian month, and I listened to Sea of Tranquility, which is a really interesting time traveling thing going on. And then I started listening to this one, and I was like, these feel very like dystopian. And then I looked and it was like August dystopian month, and I'm like, that would be why I picked The Giver. Because like at first I was like, what the fuck would I have picked? I don't read dystopian. I'm like, yes, The Giver, my dystopian love. Lisa changed laundry over and then procrastinated. Fair enough, but your laundry's getting done. Listen to Chapel Roan though, so that's nice.
Hell yeah.
Thanks for your weekly help doing my laundry. No problem. It doesn't happen as often anymore, but sometimes the first Monday of the month becomes laundry day on the stream.
I mean, it was for me this time around.
Yeah, we just all do our laundry. I have heard of it, haven't read it though. Okay, well, if you don't mind unique takes on zombie apocalypses, I would highly recommend it. Because I know some people who really just... Sorry, I have to take my earbud out my ear. I know some people who just hate zombies in general, like they don't care. And then I have a friend who doesn't mind zombies, they're just tired of zombie fiction. The way that it's been done recently. So, but I think it's really interesting the way that they're handling the zombie epidemic in this one. So I am currently 44% of the way in, so I'm almost halfway. I'm enjoying this one. Like conceptually, this one and Sea of Tranquility would not be books that I'd like read the back of and go, this is a thing I'm gonna enjoy. But I have enjoyed both. And I will of course enjoy my reread of The Giver when I get to it. Because I don't know if I really love The Giver that much, like if I had first read it as an adult, or if just because I read it when I was like 10 and it stuck with me and I reread it and I still love it on a reread, but I'm like, I think it's because I know for certain that it does not have a sad ending, and therefore I enjoy it a lot. Because The Giver, I think, is part of the U.S. reading curriculum, but it basically like ends with you. I felt it end very clearly with the main character and the baby escaping to another community, but then like a lot of people are like, no, it's ambiguous because like, did he actually escape or did he die of hypothermia? And that's just him like, and I'm like, no, he didn't die. It's not symbolic. Like we're gonna... A cigar is... I think it's my biggest fight for a cigar. Sometimes a cigar is a cigar. Which, there's like... In AP English, we had to read this book on how to critique literature. And my favorite chapter in it is sometimes a cigar is just a cigar. And it's the idea that you have to stop yourself from over analyzing and from getting too into it. Because like
could the cigar be phallic symbolism for something or whatever, or could like the fact that this character smoking the cigar through the scene be symbolic of their life burning away? And they're like, yeah, it could be. Or the character could just be smoking a cigar because it was really common for men of that era and age to smoke cigars. And so like sometimes the cigar is just a cigar. And that's how I feel about the end of The Giver. For book 1. It's a 4-book series now, I think. How did you do that sprint, Tina?
I am putting the finishing touches on a comic challenge that I'm technically late on, but it's fine. Because the whole point of it is, so it's called Micro Comic Summer, where you do a 4-page comic over the course of the summer. And on the 31st...
I love the title. Short, sweet, to the point.
Yeah, the 31st was supposed to be the, post day for it. But I'm like, if I use the hashtags, it's fine. But yeah, and I saw people also too, like, it's only, the idea is that it's supposed to be, a like small comic over a like decent period of time so you don't rush. And some people were like, yeah, I did an 8-page comic, and you're like, but although I did finish like the first 3 pages of this comic in one day. So I'm one to talk, but then proceeded to procrastinate like all hell on the last page because I like drew it and it wasn't quite working, and I was like, I need to redraw this on paper, and I didn't want to do that. And then it also happened that One Mystery Treat updated on the 31st, and so I was like, it's either going to be one or the other, and I picked One Mystery Treat. But
I mean, fair enough.
Yeah. Also because I realized there was much more work I had to do for this one besides just redrawing the page. I was like, oh shit, there's no panels at the moment. Everything is just drawn in, and I was like, oh shit, the lettering, which is what I'm doing now, and it's fighting me.
Fight it back.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've just finished the lettering, and I just have to adjust part of the sketch because I did some fun stuff with the lettering. That makes it very
All right.
juiced.
Well, I am tired. I would like to go lay
Couldn't
down.
tell.
You know,
I had no idea.
I'm such a ball of energy.
Yeah, you've been bouncing around.
Yeah. But we're not gonna do outros RP. I'm tired. Everybody who's still here knows who we are.
I mean, we do have name tags, but it is
throwing money at strangers. Well, no, like when we should do intros and outros more. It's just when the audience is consistently the same, like 6 or 7 people, I don't feel it's always necessary, especially when I'm out of it or don't have anything like special to announce. So, but yeah, we will see everybody next Monday for those in the server. I'm going to try to do more work in chills. If you don't see me in there, tag me and be like, where the fuck are you?
I mean, I would be down to do one tomorrow, potentially, because I've got stuff to do. So if Sam doesn't host it tomorrow, I might.
Yes, anybody in the server can host a work and chill. But all right, we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.